creature is a force more powerful than evil. Its desire is to consume all life on Earth.
What's going up there, YouTube land and also social media lands? Welcome to an all-new video. In this video, we're doing a movie review of a newer film that just came out the end of December, and is a horror remake of a great 1922 classic, so we're going to get right into that. Before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss this video and the other videos I put up. So always, people, if you enjoy my content here on YouTube, dabble check out my little social media platforms, such as TikTok, X, Instagram, Threads, Patreon, Facebook. Pretty much post on these regularly, so definitely check them out. So as people, let's get right into this. So welcome one and all to an all new video. So like I was saying before, we're doing a movie review of a newer film that just came out the end of December, and is a horror remake of a 1922 classic called Nosferatu. Yeah! Nosferatu, yeah! Nosferatu, yeah! So this is a remake of the 1922 silent film that starred Max Schreck as the titular character of Count Orlok, and is basically kind of a re-imaging of it too as well. It's not just a remake, I feel it's kind of almost like a reboot slightly too at the same time, because they do take some liberties in it and give it a little more than the original film did, but for the most part it is verbatim from beginning to end, just like the original film. Now, if you haven't seen the Nosferatu from 1979 as well by Werner Herzog, which is also a remake of the 1922 film, this one even goes crazier than that one did, and took it to a whole new level and given us that more of that edge and more of just a more contemporary, you know, ideological idea behind it that, you know, really kept it, you know, into that time frame, but at the same time took it to a whole new level. Now, this film happens to be directed none other by a gentleman that goes by the name of Roger Eggers. Yeah! Robert Eggers. Yeah! Robert Eggers. Yeah! So Robert Eggers, who, you know, has directed a few other things over the years that has become a huge success, such as The Lighthouse and so forth, is just a very interesting director. He has a very interesting thought process of what he brings to his films. He definitely has a very definitive idea of what he wants to do, and I really appreciate, you know, him really stepping out of the box for when he's making movies. And, you know, of course, sometimes that can play to his strengths, sometimes it can not play to his strengths. But at the same time, sometimes it can be just a little too out there. But what I loved about what he did with Nosferatu is he really stuck his guns to the original story, which I really appreciated. But I also liked that he added a few different things that really did enhance and help the story. And I think that, you know, Robert has a really good idea of how to bring cinematic things to a whole new level, and that's what he did with this film. And the set pieces, the cinematography, the places decided to film, and all that. He had such a great idea of bringing, you know, from 1922 to 2024, this great new idea and, you know, reboot and remake of a classic film that I think he did a phenomenal job with. I was actually really impressed, and, you know, by far this is probably my favorite thing he's actually directed. He did such a great job, and he got a great cast that all played characters very well, and he just had a really good idea of giving us this really great verbatim remake of the original film with those added little extra kind of things that we didn't get to see in the original film. And, you know, of course, you know, he probably did that simply the fact that, of course, you have to add a little thing, some different things to kind of bring it to a modern audience, and I understand that. And I don't feel like it hurt the movie at all. And I think that was a great idea by Robert, and he just made this film really amazing. Now, if you haven't seen anything else Robert Eggers has directed, definitely one to check out. That it's not my favorite of his. I think it's the worst for me, but it's still an okay film, and I'm glad I got to see it. And then, of course, this film that came out a few years ago called The Witch. Yeah, The Witch. Yeah, with Anya Taylor-Joy, who, absolutely love Anya Taylor-Joy, and she was fantastic in the film. But overall, I just found the film way too boring. But it's definitely a great film to check out because it is very original, very different, and Robert did a great job of giving this very different kind of story of bringing the idea of, back in the, old days, the witches being burned at the stakes and stuff like that, kind of give you a different idea of kind of what was behind it and kind of how it really was and if it was real and stuff like that. And I think he just did a really good job of giving us a very original story that was very popular and very well regarded and liked by many in the movie-loving community. And I think that he did a great job of giving us, great performances from Anya Taylor-Joy in the film, and it just was a really well-concepted film. If you haven't seen anything Robert Eggers has directed, definitely check out The Witch for his directing. He did a decent job with the film. But overall, I really enjoyed and thought it was an amazing triumph of what he brought to this remake of Nosferatu, and he did a fantastic job. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely go check out Nosferatu for Robert Eggers, directing. He did a phenomenal job. So to start us off on this great cast is none other than Count Orlok himself in the film, Mr. Bill Skarsgård! Oh yeah, Bill Skarsgård! Woo! Bill Skarsgård! Yeah! So you might recognize Bill from, of course, the Crow remake that came out last year. You might recognize him, of course, as Pennywise in the 2 It chapters. You might recognize him from a slew of other things over the years being related, of course, to the other Skarsgårds. And he is just a phenomenal actor. He's like a chameleon. He can always change and alter his looks. And that's what he did in this film. When he came up on the screen and we finally got to see him, I could not believe that was Bill Skarsgård. I did not recognize him at all. It was one of the best makeup jobs I've seen in a film in a really long time. He was completely unrecognizable. His look, his voice, everything about it was so on point and so well constructed and conceived, and Bill did such a great job of bringing that character to life and giving us a great new rendition of who Count Orlok is. Don't take it, from, Max Schreck, who he did a phenomenal job back in 1922, but Bill really brought it to an even crazier T in this film and just gave us this most phenomenal performance that, even though it wasn't the hugest, longest role, he was always on point on every sequence he was in, and I absolutely loved what he brought to it. And I still can't believe that the costume design and his makeup and everything, he just did not look recognizable, and I was really impressed by that. That was just really well done, and that was a great job by the makeup and special effects team. They did a phenomenal job. But Bill is one of those actors that, like I said, he's very much a chameleon, and that's what he brought to Count Orlok. And I loved it. I loved that he was different than Max Schreck, and that he gave us this kind of different type of take, and that he gave us kind of more of almost a Russian type of character, if you think about it, how his character was portrayed. And I think that was kind of a Robert Eggers thing, too. I think he wanted to, alter what it was, compared to the German kind of, version of Count Orlok. And I appreciated it, and I thought that did a really good job of differentiating itself from the other film and giving us something bright, fresh, and new that was really on point and really well done by Bill himself. And he just really played the character amazingly, and it was so well done. Now, if you haven't seen Bill Skarsgård or anything, definitely a film to check him out. He plays a really great villain in that I really enjoyed him in, and I thought he did a really good job. And then, of course, the film that came out a couple years ago called John Wick Chapter 4. Yeah! John Wick Chapter 4. Yeah! He was absolutely fantastic as his bad guy character in this film, and I just thought he was, amazing. His whole persona, the attitude he brought to the character, what he presented as the character just was on point and really well constructed and conceived and played out by him in the film. And I just really enjoyed his interactions with the other characters from the film because he kind of almost felt like he's not 100% sure of himself, but he still is really evil, and I liked that. I liked how it was kind of a little different than other villains I had seen in a while, and I appreciate what Bill brought to that, and I thought he did a really fantastic job, and overall did an amazing job as that character. If you haven't seen Bill Skarsgård or anything, definitely check him out in John Wick Chapter 4. He did a really fantastic job, but overall he was absolutely phenomenal in Nosferatu as Nosferatu, and he just was on point, amazing. If you haven't seen Bill Skarsgård or anything recently, go check him out in Nosferatu now. He was phenomenal. So that brings me to the next actor I'd like to talk about that was this film. And that is none other than an amazing actor who has also transferred himself into several different roles and has been amazing. And that, of course, is Mr. Aaron Taylor Johnson! Oh yeah! Aaron Taylor Johnson! Woo! Aaron Taylor Johnson! Yeah! Aaron Taylor Johnson is amazing, from his Nocturnal Animals character to his performances in Godzilla and Kick-Ass and so forth. He just is a really fantastic actor. And I really enjoy him in everything he does, and I think he's just a really underrated actor that has a lot of great qualities that make him a phenomenal actor. And he can play all the different types of genres, from action to drama to comedy to, everything. He is just a really well-rounded actor, and he really proved that in this film. I really enjoyed his character. I thought he did an amazing job. I loved what he brought to his character and how he really developed it and gave us this really fantastic performance of somebody that, loses their wife and children and all this kind of stuff. And he just really did a great job of bringing that to life and giving us a really great representation of what a man like that would act like or be like that at that time in the 1800s. And I really just enjoyed how he personified that throughout all of his acting throughout the film, and how he acted towards, everyone in the film as well, and just did a really good job. Now, if you haven't seen anything else Aaron Taylor Johnson has been in, definitely a film to check him out in that I think is absolutely a fantastic film. I don't get all the hate for his performance in this or the film itself, and he just was amazing in it. I thought it was a really fun film. And that, of course, is a film that just came out December last year called Kraven the Hunter. Yeah! Kraven the Hunter, yeah! He was absolutely fantastic as Kraven. He was on point, he was fantastic, he was badass, he was everything you wanted from Kraven the Hunter, and he delivered it. And he just was so freaking phenomenal, and it's so sad that the movie didn't do so well, and that, he basically got almost like, crucified for being the character in it almost because of how poorly the film did. And I don't get why there's so much hate for it, because it was a really well developed, really well acted, action packed film that I thought gave a really great, interpretation of the Rhino, which it's different than the comics, but I thought that the interpretation was done well, and his performance as Kraven was just on point and perfection to, I feel, Kraven the Hunter. If you haven't seen, Aaron Taylor Johnson thing, definitely check him out in Kraven. He was really phenomenal in it. But overall, once again, he was also phenomenal in Nosferatu. He was so fantastic. Really enjoyed him. And overall, I think he just was a great, amazing character in this film. If you haven't seen Aaron Taylor Johnson in anything recently, go check him out in Nosferatu now. He was phenomenal. So that brings me to the last actor I'd like to talk about that was in this film. And that is none other than the main kind of hero of the film, who tries to be a hero, Mr. Nicholas Hoult! Oh yeah, Nicholas Hoult! Woo! So Nicholas Hoult you might recognize from a whole bunch of films over the years. Attaboy, the X-Men trilogy, prequels. You might recognize him from a slew of other things over the years. And he's just one of those great actors I feel has developed really well over the years since, starting as a youth and basically becoming a really fantastic actor who I really enjoy in things. I think he does a really good job and I really enjoy him. And I think that he has one of those kind of dispositions that you just feel like you kind of just really like him all the time. Even if he's a bad guy or good guy, whatever, he's always just fun to watch. And that's what he brought as his character in, Nosferatu. I really enjoyed him. I thought he did a great job bringing to life his character. And he really showed kind of a person that would be dealing with such a grief and such a craziness going on in his life that, he would never thought that would have happened in his life. And I thought Nicholas did a great job of bringing that all together and giving us a really fantastic performance. Now, if you haven't seen Nicholas Hoult in anything, definitely another film to check him out in that is also related to the vampirism is a great film that came out last year, or the year before actually, that is just a really fantastic film with Nicolas Cage called Renfield. Yeah, Renfield. Oh my god, he's so fantastic in Renfield. I loved him as Renfield. It was a freaking phenomenal film. Great action, great comedy, great performances by everyone involved between Awkwafina and Nicolas Cage. They all worked so well together. And Nicolas was just awesome as as Renfield. He was freaking on point. I loved the characterization he brought to it. And I just think that he had such a great mixture of all different types of acting genre, from drama to comedy to action. He just brought it all in that film and just gave us this really fantastic performance. If you haven't seen Nicholas Hoult anything, definitely check him out in Renfield. He was really phenomenal in it. But overall, he was phenomenal in Nosferatu 2, and I just really enjoyed him. I thought he was a great addition to the to the cast. If you haven't seen Nicholas Hoult recently, go check him out in Nosferatu. He was phenomenal. So what is Nosferatu about? Basically, it tells the story of Lily Rose Depp's character, who basically is Dracula's, or Count Orlok as he's known in the film, bride-to-be that he has been supposedly summoned to, from the get-go, that he is trying to possess. And it's up to the rest of the people that she knows to help break that spell and to defeat Count Orlok and keep him from trying to take over everything in the world. And, basically get rid of this evil demonic creature that could essentially end civilization. It's a really well done film, really enjoyable, and just all around a great reboot remake that was just so well done. Eggers did an amazing job, and just overall this was a T for T, a really well done remake. And just I can't say enough good things about it. Giant 10 Goldie movie boxes up. Can't wait to add this to collection. It was phenomenal. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend go check it out in theaters now. Worth the watch. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Also, thank you for subscribing. If this is your first time here, or you have been before, don't forget to check out any older new videos you might not see on yet. As always, people, if you want to show support to the channel, please check out my awesome Patreon page where you get all kinds of extra accoutrements you don't get here on my YouTube channel. Shout out to my subscribers, new and old. Thank you so much. And as always, catch you next one.